Hey, I'm live. Tonight, I just want to talk about being a generational X, a girl in high school. And I noticed a lot of girls were dating or being um, pursued by older men when I was in high school as well. And today we wouldn't find that normal in 2024. It would be like you should be ashamed of yourself. This is not right. But me, I didn't date people that were 10 and 12 and 20 years older than me. But I do know some people, some girls that did. And we were only like in the ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. In that generation, I know a few girls that had a baby with the coaches in high school. I'm gonna go on with it. I mean, it was common for the girls in class to flirt with the. Hold on. I had to turn this off. Hold on. Get myself straight here. You much. Sorry about that, y'all. Again, it was common for girls in that 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade to, it was okay for for like, for instance, if there was a teacher or that was teaching, say, a coach was teaching a class, it was kind of known that, and some of the teachers were like 24, 25 years old, it was okay if they flirted with us. Do you think that's okay now? Um, it was the coaches. It was it was just older guys that wasn't even involved. They were working and they were coming to the school, and say the girls in high school were practicing basketball. Why do we look up in the bleachers? There are men that are there that are in their 30s, 27 years old, there watching us practice basketball. Now, you mean to tell me, as old as you is, and as many women you've been with, you can't get nobody good enough your age. You got to go to high school to find someone to marry. That is rather creepy. So this is what we grew up in. And generational X, we're known as the latchkey kids. They call us the most neglected generation there is. And I'm gonna speak about a little bit more stuff, and I'm gonna go more in detail on what's going on, what was going on during generational X, and I'm gonna use some TV shows as an example of how they were okay with Gen X children, girls. It was okay to be with older men and being stalked and watched and getting ready to get played. And basically, I mean, I'm telling you, most of the guys were not worth our time. We needed to go to school, we needed to get our education, and we needed to live life, because these losers that couldn't be with real women were coming to high school to find a little girl to take advantage of and marry her, maybe because they had a new car. You should have a new car. The older women weren't going for that stuff. But I'm gonna go read this article about Gen Xers being the latchkey kids, and this is an article with Medium, and they talking about generational X. And if you didn't know what group this is, generational X are born between 1964 and 1981. And we are branded as the most ignored generation, neglected. And from what I seen, what was going on with girls in 11th and 12th grade, you wasn't even free to go practice basketball. You wasn't free to run track. When you got these old perverts running around watching your every move, does not seem okay to me. Okay, this is what it's saying about us. Okay, of course, a lot of us generate. I was the oldest, so being the oldest, I had a lot of responsibilities because I had siblings to take care of during this time. We're just gonna give you a quick visual. If you're the oldest, you really had more responsibility because you had younger siblings. Most likely, your parents were not home when you got home from school. Most likely, or if they were headed up out the door on you. And the oldest had to take care of the younger children just like they were theirs. And with that being said, um, they call us the latchkey kids again. Okay, and as I was saying, many Gen X grew up in divorced households and homes with working moms with created latchkey kids, of course. And out of many in this generation as children, this generation took care of themselves and their siblings. And this led to traits of independence, resilience, and adaptability. And that's what it created for me. Again, I left home. I was fed up with a lot of stuff. I left home at age 17. I was able to, um, I forgot the term that we use when you go to court and you're your own person and you relinquish all with your parents. I did that shit. I got my own little apartment. Um, I got left high school in 11th grade. I got engaged. A whole lot of things happened, but I'm not going to go into that. But the person that I was with was 3 years older than me. I was not with the guys that were 10 years older than me. He was 3 years older than me. Um, but yeah, a lot of that was okay in that generation. My neighbor, I forget her name. I remember her. I remember the little girl. She had a baby with the coach at school. My neighbor. She was the greatest example I can use. Anyway, she had a child with a coach in school, and I think she was 2 or 3 years older than me, and she lived right next door to me. We lived in a look. I mean, our apartment was really nice, but it was all with the city apartments, but we had the newer apartment, and yeah, she was a perfect example. These people with these older men, and no one did nothing about it. To me, it was not okay. No one was giving education about this. No one was saying anything. Um, they did have sex education in school back then, but it wasn't really, it wasn't really helping us do anything. They wasn't helping. They wasn't getting rid of the guys that were hanging around watching us play basketball or run track. They were not keeping them away. So did they really care? No. So in order to survive this, you had to be really smart back then. You had to be on your P's and Q's, and you needed someone to tell you, hey, you don't have any business dealing with these guys. And I wish more men would have stood up for their daughters back then during the generational X, because, like, again, these girls were being taken advantage of. And now, and most of the girls that I remember that got with those older guys, they ended up divorced. They had the most miserable. They were not. They're not happy. They were not happy with them. Usually, this is after 1 or 2 kids. Again, men that needed to be with women their own age group. And you have to ask you, why as a grown man, why would you want a girl that is 12 years your junior and you think that's okay? And another thing, your parents thought that was okay. It was not. And my parents were about the same age group, so I don't know. Like I said, I didn't participate with the older guys, didn't want to deal with them, but I knew what they were doing. You could be riding. I'm like, you walk to the store or something, they be looking, and I was like, no, these guys don't have no business doing that. So I used to, I had a sharp tongue. I used to cuss them out, but no, they have no right to be watching and stalking little girls like that. I think that was wrong. A lot of things were going on back then that shouldn't have happened, and the school should have been more had more security and kept them those old stocking. I can't say the word, but PERED. You know what I'm saying? You get it? Yeah, they should have had more security and should have been more mindful of that. But they are like it was no big deal. It was not hurting anybody. No one got in trouble for it. It's just horrible from what my understanding. So I don't feel like the generational X girls had any type of security or anyone looking out for us. I really don't. And then I'm gonna use some example of on TV what they use. Y'all remember Dallas? That was the best show of the 90s. I mean, it was 70, started in the 70s, 70 to the 80s. We watched Dallas. Y'all remember Lucy? Lucy was involved with all them old men. She was only in the 11th and 12th grade, and Jock and what was her mama name? Miss Ellie. Jock and Miss Ellie and JR and Bobby them was letting her go out with these she hadn't even graduated. She was in a cheerleader uniform, and she had this old ass lawyer wanting to marry her. And then the one before that was a gay guy that she wanted to marry. She was what, 17 years old? These guys were in 26, 27 years old, and the show was okay with it. And remember, little Lucy was a little bitty, short, little bitty girl. Wasn't more than about 4'9". They thought that was okay. Generational X. So I guess when we went to school, a lot of the girls, most of the white girls in the school, they thought that shit was okay. It was not okay. Anyone that's twice as old as you that is stalking you, there is something wrong with these fellas. There's something wrong. It's something wrong with the family that's agreeing with it. It's something wrong with the whole kid and caboodle. It's all dysfunctional. It shouldn't have never happened. So I just wanted to get on here and talk about Generation X a little bit and how the girls were manipulated and were stalked even on the school grounds by some of the people that were supposed to be teaching them. Because I used to be in the classroom and, you have a coach in there. He like, 25, 26 years old. He come in there. They be looking pretty good. And you were like, hey, and he's not going to fail you. If you got a fine coach as your, he's just 6 or 7 years older than you. He's teaching the class. Girls in there flirting with him. He wasn't turning them down. Because guess what? The school district was not going to do anything about it. Believe me, I seen a little bit of everything. All this stuff was going on during the time that we were in school. And so that was I'm going to say that was year 1986, 86, 87. A lot of that was going on. Again, my neighbor had a baby by the coach. That was 1989. Come on now, y'all. So I got a few questions. What do y'all think about older guys coming to the school and watching little girls practice basketball and track. What did y'all do you think that is right? Do you think that the school should have had more security and had them not come in there and had more security up where they were not going to be able to watch them in the bleachers or watch them from the sidelines? Put it down in the comments. And if you are someone that witnessed this stuff, tell your story down here at the bottom. I know I did. I don't feel like it was right. I was like, he is too old. I mean, come on now. A lot of things gonna have to get right in this world. Little girls being watched and stalked is not a way. There's nothing good was about that happening to us at school. It wouldn't happen to me per se, but I was able to witness it. Like again, I never dated the old ones. I only dated people. The one that I was 3 years older, or then when I got out of school, I dated someone that was 6 years. I married someone 6 years older than me, but that's as far as I would go. I mean, some of these people were too old. Again, my parents are only 20, 21 years older than me, so it kind of seemed kind of freakish to me to be dating somebody that's about the same age as your parents. I didn't want that, but anyway, I just want to touch on that and bring that to the light. Again, a lot of those girls that did marry those, I mean, they got them straight out of high school, and they kind of like were stalking them and always there when they got out of school and picking them up, taking them to the ball games, taking them to school. They made time to take them to school, pick them up. I mean, they didn't give them no room tonight to date other people their age and let them be. I mean, we were still little girls. We should be having fun. We shouldn't be running around here worried about, okay, he has a job. He's going to buy this for me. He said he's going to get a house for me. And he wants to have children. Usually they already had some kids by the 12th grade, already pregnant in line. Okay. And because they were trying to seal the deal of getting these young girls because they know they didn't have what it takes to get the ones that were older than them. Why would a 29, 30-year-old man supposed to be a grown-ass boy want to be with a little girl that's still in high school playing basketball and running track? You tell me. Because I don't think that shit was right. Why is the school allowing coaches to impregnate little girls? And they keep their jobs. This was back in 1989, 90. This is what was going on in the school district. And then I heard one summer, it was so wild. I left in 11th grade. So I watched some that summer of the 12th grade year that I was supposed to go to the 12th grade. They said it was off the chain up there at that school. All kinds of crazy stuff was going on. All kinds of stuff. Coaches and older guys was up there out of control. Gen X, we were targeted, okay? Don't think we wasn't, because we were. I just thank God I had angels was looking after me. None of that happened to me. But not like that. I think some stuff would happen that it was kind of messed up. I believe that, this is my opinion, I believe that the baby boomers were, they call them the sociopath generation. I believe they were so narcissistic in their life, where they felt like that we could take care of ourselves. And a lot of the baby boomers were into, you got to remember, this was disco scene, party scenes. If you notice, most baby boomers had a party every weekend. And if you didn't have your grandparents had your back, you can get some serious time alone in raising yourself as a child of Generation X, because they just wasn't there for you like that. Again, we are the most independent, resilient generation there is. Um, you have to grow up fast being a Gen X, especially the girls. You have to grow up so fast. The boys will seem like they were a little bit slower than us girls, but the girls grew up very fast. I mean, by the time you were in the ninth grade, you had the mind of most of 20-year-olds. You really did. But that was I believe that was just a survival tactic because that's what you were doing all your life, taking care of your siblings. Parents went around. So guess what? You had to learn how to wash your clothes. You had to learn how to fix yourself something to eat. You had to learn how to drive a car, drive yourself, and most of us had to get a job. Um, I had my own, like I said, I had my own place when I was 17 years old. I had legally separated from my parents and got my own place. I sure did, and I forgot the name of that. But anyway, I would like to know what y'all think about how Generation X was basically targeted by older people, older gentlemen. And again, the baby boomers, they were marrying people their age. They weren't really marrying people older, like the previous. I think it was the silent generation. They were marrying people, of course, in the 20s. They were marrying people way too young. And we, as Generation X, we were reliving that, maybe because we were just wanting to get away out of our homes quicker. And we settled for that when we should have been focused on having fun and going to school, or just living the best life we could until we figured things out. Not because we're being manipulated, stalked, and being watched by someone that's much more, that's older and been out here in the game longer than we have. Remember, I always gonna remember this from my vision from high school. This is a doggy dog world. People will take advantage of you when you're naive and you don't know anything. Somebody they can try to train in the way up they want them to be, because the women that were before them weren't going for it. They already knew they wasn't about nothing. So they're gonna go to the high school, and the high school gonna let them on in there and watch little girls play basketball. Y'all tell me, was that right? Um, yeah, give me something to think about. Let me pull up some more about Generation X because I really want to talk about this. Let's see. And they're also saying this about us. The Gen Xers are ignored by the media and by the most advertiser. How many of advertisements are either focused on young tech savvy generation for those in retirement? It's like even now, if we don't get our life, we don't get our life together and know who truly Gen X. We truly need to know who we are. We truly need to be our authentic self. We truly need to get out there like we always have to do and get it and get it out the paint and pull up, like they say, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That's Generation X. So I would like to say this: any of the girls that felt like that understand what I was saying, I'm talking about, that was going on in our high school environment, leave your comments below if you agree with me, because that's my reality. This is the shit I was saying growing up. And even at that young, I knew something was not right about grown men coming and watching little girls, 10th, 11th, 12th graders practice basketball, or having grown boyfriends. You are in the 10th grade. What are you doing with a boyfriend that is 21 years old and he works at a factory, but he comes to pick you up after practice every day? But ain't nobody saying nothing. That's just normal. And none of those marriages, I don't think none of these people that I remember that were doing that back then, none of them are married to those guys that were doing that, the predators. And once they got done with them, I mean, you found out that the guys were some the top nerdiest people you ever want to meet in your day was nerds. They didn't have no game, and that's why they couldn't keep the women that was older, their same age, and they were very immature. So they had to take a woman, not a woman, a little girl that didn't know anything, and the only thing they had was a job and a car, and that was enough. No, mama, what, like I said, baby boomers went around. Mama didn't teach you that a man need more than that. You need to look more than that. So did they actually value the girls in Generational X? But I know some of them did. Some of them came from families that really knew about legacy and what they wanted their daughter to have. I remember some of the girls there. They, their families seemed like they had them pretty well much guarded. But I do remember this. A lot of the uh, 11th and 12th graders my age were getting into drugs, and they were going out with these older guys, and they would come to school beat up and drunk and all kinds of stuff. Nobody said nothing. Some of them, when before she started dating this guy, she didn't weigh nothing but about 90 pounds. Then you see him down to about 80 pounds. I mean, nobody was saying anything. Girls were coming to school beat up by their boyfriend, grabbing them. Their boyfriend was grabbing them. Like I said, these 16, 17, 18 little girls in high school were going out with guys that was much older than them, these 28, 27, 30-year-old, whatever you want to call them. They didn't have no business with those guys. Those guys were physically abusing them, and they come to school and nobody said anything. I don't get it. I just don't understand. But I'm glad the times have changed. But when we was in school, I remember there was a smoking areas. I don't think there's no more smoking areas anymore. They cut all that out. We had a smokehouse. We could chew tobacco on spring. Another thing they should have cut out, they should have never allowed us to have, after we finished our semester test, they should have just made sure that our parents came and got us and took us home. They should have never let us just go out and about in 10th and 11th and 12th grade. No, that was just an opening for some things to happen that shouldn't have happened. And hopefully the schools do better about these things now. Again, if there's a kid these days, I believe they're more protective and there's more security. At that time, we really needed that. Gen X girls, we did not receive, like I said, we're the most neglected generation there is anyway. So yeah, my nose always gets to itching when I get to talking. So yeah, I wish there were more adults that were really, really looking out for us during that time. So I'm going to speak more about the generational X generation, talk about the baby boomers a little bit more, the silent generation, and all of that. But I do say I'm very thankful to the parents that really did look out for their kids, and they weren't all caught up in the disco, and the mothers wasn't working, and the mother wasn't with marrying multiple men during those times, because a lot of that was part of that baby boom generation. Again, y'all can look this up for yourself. They called generation, the baby boomers, they called them the psycho generation. So the generational X kids, right after them, we did have to put up with a lot of craziness with them. There was a lot of selfishness. And get this is the kicker. While they were discoing and flip-flopping and being hippies, and flip-flopping from one relationship to another, marrying back to back to back, multiple marriage partners during that time, while they were doing all that, the generation before them, they took care that no one was getting divorced. They took care of them. So I guess they went to the opposite ways of the silent generation before them. Most of the time, the silent generations, the mom and dad were married. The grandparents usually still stayed in the home with them. So they not only had their mom and dad, they had their grandparents in the home with them. And then when they grow up, they wanted to take the generational X children and divorce and split everything up and say, hey, y'all on your own. But make sure you be home when the lights come on at night. This is what type of generation again. Again, these are the psychopath generation. Look it up. Okay, I just want y'all to put down in the comments if you're a generational X girl in high school, say from age 10th, 11th, and 12th. It may have been younger than that. Then you were in cheerleader, a drill team, basketball, track, and you do notice that a lot of the girls were being going for the coaches, and a lot of the girls were being watched, and I would say they were being stalked like a prey from some of the men that was on the side, just pulling up after they got off work in their cars, watching little girls, and they were 28, 29, 30 years old. And you notice that no one said anything. And it, just give your story down in the comments. And I would like to do a part two. If y'all subscribe, hit the like button and notification, and y'all put, yeah, y'all want a part two to this, because I like to get deeper in it. Right now tonight, I know I'm doing video. I put videos on Wednesdays and Sundays. I just wanted to make sure that I put up some videos up for Wednesday and Sunday, because I feel like that I have a lot to talk about and a lot of things that people don't really want to talk about. I am willing to do that. So yeah, I'm gonna build my channel up, and I'm just gonna talk. What time is it? Not quite 12 o'clock yet. I don't know. I may come back and do another subject for tonight. But again, hit the like button. Tell me what you think about it. And I'm going to go ahead and log off. And I'll talk to you y'all guys later with the next topic. I'm not sure what that is, but I'll probably just go live. Till next time. Peace.